These nightstands are going to get a total makeover. I got them on Facebook Marketplace for free, and look, it says 2 minutes ago because you got to jump on these. And even though it was raining, I jumped on my truck and headed over there. My truck has a cover so they didn't get wet, but I brought them right home. And as soon as I put them on available, somebody chose them, the buyer of that dresser. And my task is to make these coordinate. So they were having trouble finding nightstands, so we've got these and I'm going to make them go. But wow, they need some work. And there's felt liners in the drawers, which is always fun, but not just in the top drawer, but the second drawer and the third drawer. And they're all stained and they all have to come out. So these are going to be some work. We'll see what we can do with them. I'm Shireen with Olive Street Designs, and I'm showing the process of furniture refinishing so you can learn too. Be sure to subscribe and follow for more. First thing we've got to do always is take off the hardware. Now thankfully these just had a single knob, and the screws on these are old. I mean, they are actually quite old. They were her parents who had them for a very long time, so they had screws that were they look like a Phillips, but they're not really. So it took a little while just to get one knob off. But they need a good cleaning. They have some areas that are sticky. They've just been stored a while, and I like to give them a good cleaning. So I am using my scrubber on these just to get in there and really scrub them down with a good degreaser. And then I'm taking a wet microfiber towel to also just rinse all of that off so there isn't any residue. But once I get everything all cleaned off, let's clean the scrubber, and then you can see how dirty they are by when I rinse this rag. Oh my gosh, that is just all dirt. Ew. 120 grit is where we're starting, and I've got some sanding to do. So the finish is failing on these. It's not just in a little few spots where I can just, sand a little here, sand a little there. I pretty much have to sand this entire top down smooth, because there's a lot of dents and dings which you can't really see here, but when that finish is failing like that, there's just no way to save parts of it. I feel like the whole thing is going to fail, so I don't want to put paint on top of it. And yes, I probably could have grabbed my carbide scraper and stuff, but this is pine, and pine is a softer wood, and if you end up turning your carbide scraper or something the wrong way, you'll gouge it very easily. So sanding for me was the best way to go with these. And I have my little helper Henry in there. I did burn through a couple of areas, but these are getting painted, so I wasn't too concerned with it. Time to finish scuff sanding everything else. The rest of them were in great shape. There wasn't a lot of dents and dings. I mean, the typical. So I went in then with my interface pad after that, so I could do all the round areas. So I do everything flat first, and then I change to that pad so that I can then go and do all of the edges and these rounded corners. Of course, you can see I have big round bun feet on here. And just the beveled edge, everything needed sanding. And I've got my surf prep. This certainly could be done by hand with the sanding sponge if you didn't make the investment into a surf prep. But I have to say, this has been one of the best investments I've made. It is kind of pricey, but I use it all the time, almost on every piece of furniture. So if it's something you're thinking about upgrading, this is a good one to go to. See, it just hugs the curves and gets in there, so just saving on the amount of hand sanding I have to do. All right, I think I've covered almost every inch of these at this point. So it's time to get these drawers out. These are the type of drawer guides that have a little carriage. So these drawers, have to sit into the carriage, and then they connect together. I found some little gems back here. It was just some little artwork. I think I got a lucky penny in there and a couple things. I have a whole collection going of things I find inside dressers and nightstands. Anyway, just getting these all really cleaned out. I vacuumed first just to get all the dust bunnies out and anything else that I could find back there, and then a wet towel just to dust everything. And now I'm actually trying to see how much I need to clean up these carriages. So again, they are ball bearings on the sides, and they run back and forth on this track, and they connect to the drawer. And They have a lubricant on them. I think they had some type of a grease on them from the manufacturer, and over time, you know, just gets loaded with dust and grime, and they don't slide very well. These were getting a little stiff, so I knew I had to address them, and I'm just getting some of the gunk off of here, but I think I'm going to come back later and really clean these up and lubricate them. Now I need to address 6 drawers of felt liners. Usually it's just the top drawer, but this manufacturer decided to put felt liners in all the drawers. So unless you take these drawers apart, it is tucked underneath the edge, and I just cut around the perimeter. I'm not taking the drawers apart to get the liners out. I take a metal putty knife, and you see I make those cuts across the middle too, just so I have somewhere to get a little bit, my knife under there a little bit. And then this is going to come off in strips. And some of the strips come off better than others, so I just get under the edge there and then pull it off and see how much I can do. Some are big strips, some are little strips, but it actually goes pretty fast. It is leaving a ton of residue, and it's like fabric on the back of felt, which is totally fine because I'm dumping acetone in here, and that's why I have gloves on. And I'm just taking a paper towel, not to sop up any of the acetone, but just to make sure everything is getting wet, because I'm taking my scraper, and you could do this with a putty knife, and look at how that is just coming off. That acetone is just dissolving the glue, and it just comes off like butter. So this is a great trick that I've learned. I don't worry about what's coming off of stuff when, you know, when I'm pulling it out. If that fabric and everything's staying behind, it's just fine, because it holds the acetone on there, which helps to dissolve the glue, and it works out great. So that's all the gunk that was left behind from those felt liners. Just a few more scrapes to make sure I've got it all, and that drawer is fantastic. Acetone dissolves so fast. I mean, it's already dried by the time I get that drawer done. And I'm just now going in with a light sanding. You'll see the manufacturer was so nice to use a Sharpie in one of those drawers that I could not get out with anything. So these are all getting lined. That's a middle drawer. I think actually that's a top drawer, but anyway, these are going to have to get lined because I can't leave 156 in one of the drawers. Okay, back to the top. So again, when working with pine, you have to do some things a bit differently because we've got knots everywhere. And those knots can bleed through. They also have, you know, like an area in the middle of each knot that's going to act like a crack. And so I fill each one of them with Bondo. Even some of the knots that don't necessarily look like they have a little bit of a crack in it, everything is going to get a little Bondo over the top of it. This is the cream hardener that goes with the Bondo. There's no precise measurement. It's put a dollop of Bondo out, and I think the manufacturer instructions say add some hardener. They're not specific. I add just enough to make it hard, and actually a little goes a long way. So this is blue, and the more blue it is, the more hardener you've added. It doesn't necessarily help make it go any faster, and sometimes it goes too fast already. So just add a little bit of hardener. So I'm going over and I'm feeling with my hand if there's any little dents or dings and things that I'm not able to see. I can feel them sometimes, so I'm getting those filled in first. And then I am just going to go back over the top of this and fill on the top, just a light layer on top of each one of those knots. And then I did go over and fill a bunch of the drawers. And I have to now close the garage door because it's pouring rain outside. So now it's time to sand, and the Bondo only takes about 15 minutes to set up, and then you can get in here with the sander and get everything sanded smooth. We're back to these carriages, and you can see I'm struggling with it. And you know, when the drawers attach, they're a little easier to move, but I don't want them to be so stiff. They shouldn't be that hard to move. So what I'm going to do is take a cleaner. This is actually a WD-40 cleaner, and I'm just spraying it in there. I am going to just clean everything off. So I'm going to clean under the carriage. You know, if these weren't attached the way that they are with the ball bearings, you could probably pop them out and then figure out how to put them back together. But I don't mess with the ball bearings much. Okay, so I just get everything really clean. The sides where the balls roll on the sides of the tracks, you got to get clean as well. These are gonna, look really pretty, but they're still not moving super smooth because they just need to be lubed again. But I do spend a lot of time, and I don't know if you can see my rag, but it's just black because there's just a bunch of gunk on here. So they're sliding a little better already. But now we're going to add some lube back. I use several different kinds. This one's easy because of the way you can just spray it out there. But look at already, like, woo! Now they slide fantastic. And that's just how you want your drawers to be able to slide. Nobody wants a stiff drawer. I used some Bondo on the fronts of the drawers too. That's what I was sanding off there, just for dents and dings. So now I've got a barely damp microfiber towel. So I've got a lot of exposed wood. I don't want to use a sopping wet towel because it will raise that grain up. And that's a whole other issue. But now these are getting reattached or re-engaged with that carriage on the guide and back in. I don't like to take these drawers in and out, because I have pulled these drawers out and had the ball bearings pop out, and then you're just done. You got to replace the whole thing. So I'm careful with how many times I pull the drawers completely out of the cabinet. I've got my spray tan all set up, and I was blowing it out just to get it all clean. And again, because this is pine, I'm treating it a little differently. The first thing I'm going to do is go in with this cover stain primer. And this is to help seal in any of the knots, because knots bleed. And it may not bleed right away, but in 6 months or a year from now, you'll have a dark spot in your paint. So I always go in with a light coat of that and seal it. Now I'm sanding, get everything nice and smooth. And I really like to use that too when I'm all the way down to bare wood. Just again to seal that wood. And now I'm going to go in with my traditional primer. This is my bonding primer called Stix. Just another good layer of primer. So pine, can refinish really nicely. You just have to do a few extra things to it. So much furniture was made out of pine. And some people just completely steer away from it. But I find, you just do a few extra steps and it's actually just fine to work with. Tons of life left in these pieces. So this is my Stix Primer. Again, it's tinted. If you watch my channel much, you'll see that I almost always use tinted primer. Typically I'm going from a dark piece that I've sanded a bunch of blotches and things through, and it's just it looks like a train wreck. So I like the gray primer. I feel like it just has better coverage. So just spraying all of this. This is actually a pretty thick coat. I have my sprayer setting set to have a nice, decently thick coat of primer on here. Gonna set that up with a fan and let that dry since it is still kind of rainy outside. I've got the garage door open now for some light, but it's not great outside. So sanded that down again, wiped everything off, and here goes the paint. So this is a custom paint that I made for that dresser that I showed you earlier. And thankfully, I still had a whole bunch of it left over. I made like an entire quart of it. And so when this client said, "Can you do nightstands in that same color?" I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And this is kind of a cool oyster color that's got some gray undertones to it. And these huge bun feet, there's just no way to paint these without laying them on their backs. I thought about even just taking them off completely, but this is working out just fine. So just lay them on their back so I can do those feet by hand. I think they're kind of cool. I've never really had a piece with bun feet quite like this, but I like them. They also have these big, huge felt feet. Only on some of the feet, they're not even everywhere, and I couldn't even get them off. They've been on there for so many years, so I had to use a screwdriver and a hammer just to peel those off. So I need access to the hole that's there because some of the feet are a little loose, which is making the whole nightstand wobbly. So I'm just going in to access the screw so I can get that all tightened up. And then I'm going to replace those felt feet with an actual little foot that nails in that I like to use a lot better. because I feel that it holds things up off the carpet. Or if you have hardwood floors, it's not going to scratch your floors. So after I got everything all tightened up, I'm going to go through each one. I actually was trying to do this with a screwdriver and found out that no, it's actually a hex. So I had to get my Allen wrench and get them all tightened up. That's probably why nobody had tightened them. So then I'm going to start hammering in feet everywhere. It's best to use these needle nose pliers to hold it on there. Start hammering, take the pliers out, put it all the way in. Speed things up. All right, I feel good about those feet now. Okay, doing the same thing to the other side. Getting those little feet on there, got everything all tightened up. Time to stand these back up and touch up underneath where that lip of the drawer just touches the cabinet. There was just a little bit there that the sprayer can't reach, so I just do that by hand in between coats. And now I'm going to put these adjustable screws in and use them as temporary handles. Because I've just painted behind the drawer and now I'm painting the front of the drawer, I'm going to pull these out so they can dry and then they won't stick. This is Topcoat. That was a quick transition there, sorry. It went from the second layer of paint to the Topcoat, let that dry, and now this is the next day we're doing drawer liners. Again, because these are that carriage style guide, I'm not going to pull these drawers out again just to do liners. I'm going to line them in place, which is a little tricky. So I take the time to measure carefully, and then I am cutting all of these exactly to size. I measured several drawers to make sure they're all the same size, and now just making sure these are cut to the exact size. So what you do is I'm dry fitting it just to make sure it fits just fine. And then when you peel the paper back, you only peel back the front like maybe 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches. And then you place that in the drawer, get it situated exactly how you want it. Make sure everything is straight. And then as you peel the paper off, you seat the rest of that into the drawer. There you go. That's how you line a drawer in place. Plastic putty knife just to smooth everything out. So it's really important when you put that first edge in there where you've pulled the backing off first that you get it in there straight. So again, just pulling off a couple of inches. Set that in there, pull the rest of the paper off. That's it. Okay, time for some hardware. The hardware that was on the top of the small drawers on the dresser, they no longer make, so I had to change that out. That dresser's sitting right behind these, so I was able to change the hardware on all of them so they do match now. And I put this in here and the screw's too long. That's not getting nice and tight, so I'm going to take it back off. And in your stock, make sure that you have an entire selection of washers, because this happens quite often. So I have a bunch of washers, and if I pull things apart, or I've got other hardware that I take off, or I change out screws and they happen to have washers, I always keep them. So I have a whole little bin of washers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the washer on the screw. And now when I tighten up that screw, it's going to be nice and tight. That was just the little bit that it needed. There they go. Nice and tight. Perfect. So I'm not even going to see how the other ones go. I'm just going to add a washer to every one of them. Here's a look back at where these started. Wow. What a change these have gone through. So here they are now. I think it's a huge improvement. And although these are not exact to the dresser, they have the same liners, same hardware, same color. They'll coordinate nicely. I hope you like them. Be sure to follow for more.